Day one of the Rogue Invitational is done and dusted. Auntie Liz, 3 events today. We had the deadlift, we had the sear dumbbells, and we had the sandbag carry for distance. An epic day of strongman, some ups and downs, some amazing performances. How did you find day one?
I absolutely loved it. It's very different. Like very different to any other strongman competition I've been to, because obviously the CrossFit element and the big gap in between events because of that. I saw some comments online that didn't love the deadlift setup, but I thought it was great. Maybe I had a better view. That I had a great view for that because I was right behind it. So I really enjoyed that. The sear dumbbell, I liked how they sort of worked their way into each other. And then obviously the sandbag, I know again there's mixed opinions about a 5-man race, but personally I've always been an advocate for big races. I love it. And
I kind of like that head-to-head, everyone against each other. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and I found, like, we'll go into further detail in a minute, but I found it really interesting that the 2 guys in both heats who waited for the others to go, and that wasn't a coincidence, they weren't struggling to pick it up, Mitch Hooper and Alexi, they waited and then they were able to see everyone else and they went the furthest in their heats.
We'll talk about that in a second. Let's start off with the deadlift, as that was event number 1. It was 900 pounds, 18-inch pull, and this was an incredible, I mean, the lifts that the guys did were fantastic. You had, I think, 7 guys doing 7 or more repetitions.
That's
so
crazy.
You had Rob Kearney do 7 reps and come 7th place.
Poor Rob. That was such a good performance by him. And a couple of other really standout ones. Martins, he did better on, like, when I saw him, I was like, oh, damn, I got that wrong.
Well, I mean, when we looked at the events beforehand, you would have looked at Novakov wanting to get ahead of Martins on this one. So they ended up, Rob Kearney with 7 reps, got him 7th place. Then you had a tie with 8 repetitions for Mitch Hooper and Bobby Thompson, who both got very close to a 9th rep. You know, these little fractions can make a big difference in the end, but both didn't manage to get the down signal. Then you had Martins and Novakov both on 9 repetitions. Trey Mitchell hitting 10, and man, he looked strong.
Yeah, he did.
And then up comes Pavlo Nekonechny. Bangs out 11 reps to get the win. Doesn't even stop there. Goes for a 12th and gets
shouting, Pavlo, stop, you've won.
And do you know what? I believe if he had to, he could have done a 13th as well.
Yeah.
His deadlifting is just ridiculous. The man's back is as wide as they come. There's slabs of muscle on there. He just proved he was here and he means business. 12 reps for Pavlo Nekonechny, taking the win. In the bottom couple of positions, we had 2 guys on 2 reps. So Athor and Kevin Ferris, both getting 2 reps. Unfortunately for Maxime Boudreau, he was unable to get a rep. And because he was unable to get a rep, he zeroed on that event in terms of points. You need to be able to do 1 rep or start an event to get a point in the rules in this competition. So unfortunately for Maxime, zeroing there. But Pavlo Nekonechny getting maximum points, 10 points, and 12 repetitions on a 900-pound deadlift for reps. So like you said there, the real takeaway, amazing performances by Trey, amazing by Pavlo, but it was Lissis getting joint 3rd place. I was expecting him to drop a few more places. I thought guys like Bobby, Mitch Hooper could have got ahead of him and done Novakov a favour. So I think Novakov would have been the most disappointed after the deadlift.
Agreed.
However, he makes up for it in the sear dumbbell, and the dumbbell now, he's won, I think 9 or 10 events, 10 competitions in a row, he's won the dumbbell. He clearly is the number 1 when it comes to the dumbbell. Doesn't matter whether it's the monster dumbbell, doesn't matter whether it's the sear dumbbell, whether it's a medley, whether it's for reps, whether it's light, whether it's heavy. He is exceptionally good at the dumbbell, and he proved it once again. But Trey Mitchell, at one point, I thought Trey may take it. He is coming in shape in this competition. Trey Mitchell and Novakov were the only athletes to do all 4 dumbbells. Novakov managed to get 2 reps on the 285-pound, 130-kilo dumbbell. Really quite crazy to think they're using these kind of weights.
For reps.
A lot of guys struggled on this event. You know, there's a lot of guys that only managed to get 1 dumbbell. 2 in a decent time was good points. 3 dumbbells, really big points. And then obviously only the 2 guys to do all four. So for me, the big talking points on this one, obviously, brilliant performances by Novakov and Trey. For me, Rob Kearney, extremely impressive, doing 3 dumbbells, looking really, really good. There was controversy on this one. Lissis got 3 dumbbells. Now, in my opinion, watching from the booth, I don't think he should have got the down signal on the 3rd rep. And almost watching, when you watch him, he almost was surprised that he got the dumbbell given to him.
There was a lot of confusion in the crowd as well. So I was sat, with Strongman fans, and people couldn't understand why he'd moved on to the 4th one when they were like, but he didn't get the 3rd one. And I was trying to fit, you don't see everything, but you watch it back, and I thought, oh man, yeah, that 3rd rep was iffy, considering Mitch Hooper didn't get that 2nd rep.
I think that's the kind of real argument here. I mean, it was funny because I watched the deadlift and I was really impressed with the refereeing.
Yeah.
And then I saw the dumbbell and there was a couple of decisions. You think, firstly, let's get this right. Mitch shouldn't have got the 2nd rep. It wasn't locked out.
No.
But Mitch's 2nd rep looked no worse. In fact, if anything, it looked slightly better than Lissis's 3rd rep.
It was so awkward because I was sat like Bonnie, Mitch's mum, she was so disappointed he wasn't given that 2nd rep. And I was like, look, if Mitch thought he had it, you would have seen emotion from him because he would have been upset. Yeah. He's clearly fine. He knows he didn't have it. I said, it's fine for him not to get that as long as it's consistent. But then, of course, Martins afterwards got the 3rd rep and I was like, oh, yeah.
And this is the thing. It's a really hard job refereeing. I went and spoke to Magnus afterwards.
Thankless task.
And I was like, Magnus, I think you got it wrong there. And it's such a hard decision. And maybe in Strongman we should look at something like, having action replay. The problem with that, and this is where you've got to stand up for someone like Martins, is he still had time to do that dumbbell.
Yes, how can you say, no, we're going to take that rep off of you when he had 17 to 20 seconds to potentially still get that 3rd rep and do it well.
And that's where the issue is. Yeah. But I think we've got to go with that strict refereeing. We've got to make sure, especially on an event like a dumbbell, because a dumbbell, if you are locked out and under control, you can then hold it. It's not like, it's actually harder.
It won't be coming back down.
It's harder to hold it half locked out than it is to fully extend, have it bone on bone.
Yeah.
So I think they were very lenient on that decision. And it's nothing against Martins. It didn't matter who the athlete was. It's not the athlete's fault. It comes down to thankless job for the referee. But we're talking about a lot of money in stake here. Even one place, that 1 point now could cost someone like Rob Kearney, who's doing really well day one.
Yeah, he is.
And if it comes back to he gets knocked down a point, but by a point, and that rep ends up costing him.
Yeah,
we need
could cost him thousands.
Yeah, we need to have these kind of issues ironed out in the sport as much as possible. So a little bit of controversy there on the Sear dumbbell, but unquestionably, Novakov taking the win. Trey Mitchell coming 2nd on the 2nd event in a row, starting this competition blisteringly well. Mitch Hooper disappointed with his first 2 events. Yeah. Unquestionably, he was very, very close to that 2nd rep on the dumbbell, very, very close to a 9th rep on the deadlift. But the ifs and buts don't matter. The fact is, couldn't do it, was disappointed, but he hasn't let it affect him. He's gone in to the 3rd event and he absolutely smashed it. I actually went up to him and said, you put it down. I was disappointed.
Yeah, that he put it down by choice.
He was in the first heat because of the lower performances than he expected. Had to end up going up first. He did 225 feet on this event, and that was good enough to take the win. The interesting thing on this event is Pavlo Nekonechny comes 2nd. Huge arms, managed to get round.
Did Pavlo come 2nd?
Pavlo was 3rd.
Yeah, Alexi.
And Alexi saw the marker and managed to go ahead of him, get 2nd. Lissis dropping quite a few points on this one. I think. Yeah, so just checking the scores. Mitch Hooper takes 1st place. Novakov was 2nd. Then we had Pavlo Nekonechny 3rd. And then Trey Mitchell, another solid performance. And this is an event when you look at Trey, think maybe he's going to drop some points.
Definitely.
4th place for Trey on this
really
one.
Really good. I guess
Rob Kearney taking 5th place. And Martins Lissis was in 6th, dropping a good amount of points there to his potentially biggest rival, Alexi Novakov.
And we did say, though, didn't we? This is one of those events, it's so hard to predict because anything can happen. I mean, I would have thought Maxime would have done much better.
Maxime, Kevin, all these kind of athletes I was expecting big performances from, but it's tough. That weight is crushing down on them. It zaps their energy. It was a tough... I mean, how many guys were collapsing, flying onto the
it's quite scary, wasn't it?
I mean... It's not an event that I worry too much about seeing guys collapse, because it's a combination of the lactic acid building up and then the inability to breathe because of the weight crushing down on your chest. So you see it quite often, and it's not so concerning just because you're kind of used to it. They're normally fine within a few minutes, get their breath back, and they're absolutely fine. But if you're not used to that, it is quite scary seeing these big, huge men just diving down, collapsing.
Yeah, like, woo.
So at the end of day one, the big five right now, you've got Alexi Novakov, who I think most people would have expected to be in first place after day one, looking at the events. He is in first place, 26.5 points. I'm sure he'll be very pleased with that. Second place is Trey Mitchell, just 1.5 points behind on 25 points. Supreme first day for him. Those first two performances, second place on the deadlift, second place on the sear dumbbell, and a solid performance on the shield. If he can put a big performance in on the arm over arm, which I think is where a lot of people are expecting him to drop points. Yeah. But if he can put something solid, come somewhere mid-table,
I think he secures his spot on the podium.
I think he could do very, very well. Then in third place on 20.5 points, we have Martins Lissis. Now that's a big deficit he's got. 6 points and 5 points, or 4.5 behind Trey. 6 points behind Novakov. That's a lot of points to make up. Yeah, but he's probably got the better day two out of the two of them, and with so many great athletes, there is chances for mistakes and points to be clawed back up. Fourth place, we have Pavlo Nekonechny on 20 points. Fifth place is Mitch Hooper, 18.5 points, and then we've got Rob Kearney on 17, Bobby Thompson 13.5, Athor on 10.5. Kevin is on 6.5, and Maxime currently with 6 points in last place. Some better events coming tomorrow for some of those guys. Yeah. But those top five, I think they're going to be hard to catch for anyone looking at them. Yeah. You know, Pavlo's really impressed. A little bit of a poor performance on the sear dumbbell, but I'm expecting big things from him on the arm over arm.
Yes.
That's going to be an epic event to start day two.
I can't wait to see that.
I've never been a huge fan of arm over arm, but Rogue have really set the standard in terms of equipment. Yeah. I mean, the deadlift platform was incredible. This roller coaster is just cool.
I asked Katie, one of the co-owners of Rogue, if I could ride it. Like, if there's because what happens when it gets to the top, so we should point out they've taken out the sandbag load element.
It's just going to be an arm over arm event.
Yes, because when tested, it's just too much and too hard. So when they finish pulling at the top, it tips out the sandbags and there's like a half slide. And I said, put a crash mat at the bottom of that. I could do it. I could ride it. And I mean, she said as long as I was willing to sign a waiver, I could do it. So I don't know when I'm going to get the chance.
We may be able to see that happen.
Oh man, that would make my year.
Anyway, guys, day one of the Rogue Invitational has been an awesome show so far. Make sure you guys tune in to the Rogue YouTube channel tomorrow for day number 2. We'll be back with a recap video as well. Hope you've enjoyed this one. Let us know who you think's going to win. Novakov is in the lead, but Martin's still battling. Hooper still battling. Trey Mitchell been incredible.
In a really strong position.
Nekonechny, that guy, who knows what he's capable of. Still lots to fight for. It's going to be an exciting day 2. Take care. Please remember to like, share and subscribe to the channel. We'll catch you guys soon.